Hey, thanks for watching another What's in the Box. As always, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Today I'm going to take a look at an item I've had for some time, and you may have seen back behind me, particularly the hair sticking out in videos. But I'm also going to review something I got in just this week. Now, I'm fairly well known for just liking really solid, logical movies and horror movies. And I don't really go out on a limb for the crazier stuff. Uh, but for some reason, Killer Klowns is the exception. I guess I just really enjoy the characterization and the makeup effects for the clowns. It's an insane idea. Alien clowns from outer space come to a small town to turn everyone into cotton candy and suck them dry like vampires. Whether it's blood or life energy, it's never really established. But that's kind of the fun of that particular movie. Of course, this is a Trick or Treat Studios mask, but it's not the standard mask. Uh, I follow a number of special effects artists from Hollywood, and one in particular, Jamie Grove, I followed for some time. I've even taken some of his classes online. And so when I saw this particular repaint mask go up and go up for cheap, we're talking, I think I paid 120 bucks shipped. I kind of jumped on it. Uh, so anyway, what he did was do a quick repaint. And you can see this mostly in the front of the face. He did sort of a dusting over the whole thing, giving it some stippling and some skin texture, and then he went in and filled in some of the wrinkles and stuff with purples and grays. It's particularly noticeable in the lips, the nose, and the eyes. What he did really knocked this out of the park, to be honest with you. And I guess if I'm talking about this, this needs to be a little closer to me. As you can see, it's huge. This fits my head and then some. Essentially, it fits to the point where you see out of the clown's mouth. And of course, he cut that out a little bit bigger just so you would have more sight. In the actual mask, I think it's little tiny little slits. Anyway, he's sort of glossed up the lips and the eyes and really made this thing pop. I wish Trick or Treat Studios put out a mask like this already. But of course, then it wouldn't be a $50 or $70 mask. What he did is great for the price in particular. Here's my issue with Jamie and effects artists like him. I have yet to have a deal come through smoothly. There's always a catch, a hitch, there's something. While this may look amazing on camera, and I'm sure it does, you might be able to notice a handful of little problems, like missing paint on the chin, on some of the cheeks. They kind of show up as white spots because the paint has peeled. The nose is actually fairly delicate and it's cracking. There's little stress areas all over, little white specks and stuff that really kind of mess this up. And there's one reason and one reason only. Jamie took this huge mask and crammed it into a tiny, small box. I don't care how good of an artist you are, how well it's painted, something like that, this size, cramming it into a small box is going to crush the paint job. And it did just that. There are all kinds of little blemishes here and there. Now, the thing is, he didn't tell me he was going to shove it in a box. He didn't tell me if I wanted it in a larger box, it would cost more. None of this was said until I came to him and said, look, it's got a bunch of blemishes. I didn't realize it was going to come in a box half its size. And he said, well, he'd take care of it. That never happened. He was also supposed to sign the inside of the mask. That never happened. Contacted him about both things. He said, yeah, he would take care of it. What would I want to do? And I'm just like, well, maybe match the paint or something. We can do it like that. He said, sure, fine. None of this has ever transpired. I've never gotten paint samples for this mask. I've never gotten the signature that I was hoping for. And that really sucks. I mean, I wish I'd have known. I wish he would have said, oh, give me $20 more or whatever, and I'll ship it in a bigger box. No communication was had on that front. And to be honest, he hasn't come through in over a year. Or more. I can't even remember at this point. But that's the downside to the mask. Otherwise, I love it. I love exactly what he did with it. And I would hope in the future, if he did another one, that we could have that discussion and come to an agreement. Now, that said and done, we'll move on to the brand new item in the collection. I had no idea that these were being produced at all. And I don't even know what to say. Like, Killer Klowns merchandise has been rare up until probably the last 5 years. And then you started seeing masks pop up and stickers and pins and all sorts of stuff. And I never really thought they would get to something like this. And it's pretty amazing. I never thought we would get the cotton candy gun from Killer Klowns. Now, there are two of these. There's this small one and then a much larger one. I hope that they produce the larger one as well. But these can be found at Spirit Halloween for about $25. The problem is they're now rare. Everyone has them. And they're, scalping them on eBay. I ended up having to pay about $40 for this. Not bad. About $15 higher, so I'm okay with that, I guess. But what we'll do is open this up for you in just a second. This is fantastically accurate as far as I'm concerned. The paint is nice and bright. It's extremely multicolored. I mean, dark blues, light blues, pinks, reds, greens, yellows, everything that you would expect from the Killer Klowns cotton candy gun. The paint is done fairly well. There's a couple little scuffs here and there that likely came from the packaging and being shipped around, but nothing too horrible. It has a nice profile all around. But the one thing I always take issue with items like this is these horrible screw holes. Hole for the speaker, I understand. And this battery box here. Now, if it were me, I would have found more ingenious ways of screwing the two parts of this together. You could even make little plugs for these, little plastic plugs. I've seen it done before. And you just have a little white plug, ping, goes right in there, and it covers that hole up. Even has one here. That could be covered up, no problem. As far as the battery compartment and the switch, all could have been on the bottom of the gun, right here on the hilt. We could have had the hilt detach and batteries go in like that, and maybe the switch on part of the hilt, or even better yet, have the switch be the trigger. That's my only real complaint. The kicker with this gun is the fact that it has motion and it has sound. And I absolutely love that aspect of it. As you can see, grab the trigger and that's really cool. I get a kick out of that. The sound is pretty accurate. The movement, the lights. I mean, for $25, you can't bitch too much. I mean, you really can't. Of course, I did pay $40, so I can bitch a tiny bit, especially about the screw holes. But yeah, I really enjoy that. And I think it's a fun little item, to be honest with you. If you can find these at Spirit of Halloween, grab them. I think any Clowns fan would enjoy this, and it's fairly well put together. And I absolutely love the sound and movement. That's just really, really cool. But yeah, hopefully you'll find this out in the wild. If not, again, you can pay about 40, 50 bucks a pop at eBay. And I think it's worth it, even for scalper prices. At least this hasn't gotten too ridiculous. Um, any fan of that movie would love to have this. And like I said, I hope they do the bigger gun. I'm not sure how much bigger it would be. Probably a good 3 foot or so. But still, even if that was 40 or 50 bucks, I'd snatch that up as well. I believe that one's called the popcorn gun because anytime they fired it, popcorn shot out. Uh, to what end, I don't know. I don't think anyone was ever got by the popcorn gun. But many people were got by the cotton candy gun and turned into cotton candy goo. So, worth having. And hopefully you do find it out there. Um, Eventually, I would love to put together a Killer Clowns costume and run around just freaking people out with it, especially with the paint job that this mask has. The big problem is the hands. I do believe they produce a set of hands for these masks, but they're god awful looking. So if I went the full costume, I would likely have to sculpt them myself, produce a set of hands that I could wear so it could be comfortable and I could cotton candy the hell out of some people. But yeah, eventually I'll get around to that maybe and do a big, fluffy, goofy costume to go with it. I know they do carry those as well, but they're pretty weak. You might be able to take one, amend it, change it up a little bit, and make it look better. But they all seem pretty loose fitting and not horribly accurate. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed a look at my mask and also the cotton candy gun. And hopefully you too will pick up some Killer Clowns merchandise and support the Kyoto brothers who did Critters, Killer Clowns, and maybe hopefully we'll do another Killer Clowns in the future. You never know. But until next time, your cotton candy.